Welcome to our Empower Hour. My name is Jenny, and I am the CMO of Project Glimmer. So excited to see that we have some sunscreen users in the house tonight. So thank you for that. Today we have a really special Empower Hour. Have been working with one of our amazing partners, L'Oreal, and one of their very unique divisions, which really is all about how medicine integrates with beauty to create product innovation, and with the dermatology industry. So, without further ado from me, I would love to hand it over to our moderator, Andrea, and she is going to take you through everything. And just a reminder to please ask your questions in the chat. We have so many amazing panelists here who are ready to answer your questions. So, all of those burning medical skincare questions, this is the group for you. So, Andrea, over to you.
Thank you so much, Jenny. It's such a pleasure to be here this evening. How's everyone doing? I want to see some gestures in the chat. So this is going to be a interactive event. So please, share the love. So excited to see you all tonight. Thank you for joining this amazing Empower Hour. First, let me just tell you a little bit about myself. My name's Andrea Spade, and I work for L'Oreal Dermatological Beauty. And currently, I lead medical relations. So that means I create partnerships with dermatologists and healthcare providers to create spaces that are inclusive. We also like to create programs for students like yourselves who are interested in medicine. I've been at L'Oreal now for almost 10 years, so hard to believe, but I love all things skincare. When I was a young child, I felt like that I didn't always see myself represented in beauty. And so I always felt like there needed to be a space, for people who look like me, who felt like me. And so that's why I'm so passionate about all things skincare. Absolutely love community service, so I love giving back. So one of my favorite pastimes is I'm a Girl Scout leader, and my daughters are both in Girl Scouts. I went to the amazing Hampton University, the best HBCU in the entire world. I love all things plants, and of course, you can see I love cupcakes, and it's my favorite dessert. Does anyone like cupcakes? Awesome, awesome. Well, that's a little bit about me. I would love now to introduce our very special guest, someone who is near and dear to me, and we have partnered on so many community outreach initiatives. So let's give a warm welcome to Dr. Henry.
Hi, Andrea. Hello, ladies. Thank you for having me today. So to tell you a little bit about myself, my name is Dr. Henry. It's kind of strange introducing myself as that because I just graduated from med school about 1 month ago. I'm originally from Philadelphia. I saw someone was in the chat from Philly. I was born and raised in Philadelphia, and then I came to DC to attend Howard University. I'm a proud Howard alum, double bison now. After undergrad, I had my first exposure to dermatology, where I went and worked as a medical and surgical assistant for a dermatology practice in DC. And I basically fell in love with the specialty. But I had about a personal love for dermatology because I myself had a skin condition that went undiagnosed my whole life. And what I began to learn is that skin conditions appear and present differently in skin color. So I wanted to be that avenue for others who looked like me, and to treat other young women and men in my community who have dermatologic conditions. So as I said, I recently graduated from Howard University College of Medicine last month. And I'm on the pursuit to continue to be a vessel and an advocate for youth like you, but also to be a clinician in my community.
I love that. I love that, Dr. Henry. I mean, I know that you're so rooted in all things skincare, and I know that, you're so passionate about helping others. And so
Yep.
that's why this naturally seems like a best career for you.
Yes.
I know that we've been working together and doing community outreach, and you started this amazing student group called Skin Scholars. So can you first tell us a little bit about Skin Scholars?
Yes, so Skin Scholars is a community service organization that I started with one of my classmates. Like I previously said, I had a skin condition that went undiagnosed my whole life, but also growing up, I didn't practice healthy skincare practices. Growing up, I didn't wear sunscreen, honestly. And in the Black community, many of us didn't grow up wearing sunscreen. So I wanted to create an organization where I went into DC area schools to educate the youth on healthy skincare practices. I'm sure a lot of you are on social media, TikTok, Instagram, and there's a craze where a lot of young ladies are using harsh skin care products. So a part of Skin Scholars is we go into the community, we just educate the youth on what skincare they should be using. Certain products are way too strong or harsh for young ladies. So we started out with our first school, I believe, was 40 students, and over the years, we've educated over 4,000 students in the DC area. On
Wow.
top of educating students, we always want to inspire the youth to consider
Hmm.
medicine as a career path. So I have a few slides to hopefully inspire you ladies to consider medical school or possibly dermatology as a career. So this segment is called So You Want to Be a Dermatologist. Next
Love
slide.
it. Awesome. Thank you so much for that, Dr. Henry.
You're so welcome. Okay, so when should you visit a dermatologist? So a lot of us, how many of you have a skincare routine? If you could put your hands up in the chat. Okay, so majority of us have a skincare routine, and according to the AAD, there are 3 steps that you should take every single day to maintain healthy skincare practices. You should use a cleanser, a moisturizer, and an SPF, which is really preventative measures, but also maintenance. And in the event that you ever feel as though your over-the-counter skincare routine is not managing your skin, then you should seek out treatment from a dermatologist. So, what does a dermatologist do? A dermatologist treats hair, skin, and nail conditions. Next slide. So, how do you become a dermatologist? So, the journey to dermatology is long, but I will say that it's very rewarding. The first step is to obtain a bachelor's degree. You can attend college. And one thing that a lot of people don't know is that you can major in absolutely anything. Um, to apply to medical school. I have my best friend from college. She was a math major. I have another friend who was a dance major. You can major in absolutely anything. Exactly. A lot of people don't know that. You just have to take the prerequisites, which is just a set of science classes to prepare you for the next step, which is the MCAT. It is an 8-hour exam. 8 hours sounds very long, but I promise you, when you're in it, it goes very, very fast. And then after you take the MCAT, then you attend medical school. There's 2 types of medical school, allopathic schools, which are MD schools, which I attended at Howard University. And then osteopathic schools are DO schools. And the education is the same. DO schools just provide a more of a holistic approach to their curriculum. Next step.
Dr. Henry, before
Mhm.
you proceed, are there certain courses that people should consider, like in high school, like any prerequisites or special clubs to, prepare them? What do you have any suggestions there as well?
Yeah, so I'm always a fan of fully immersing yourself into medicine. When I was in high school, I joined the pre-health club at my high school. I
Hmm.
also volunteered at my local hospital to just expose myself to different specialties within medicine. I would volunteer at my local shelter and educate them on health conditions. So I think that just engaging in community service in your local community, as well as joining like pre-health organizations, would be good exposure.
Okay, thank you.
Mhm. The next step after you graduate from medical school is the attend residency, which is a 4-year process where you basically train in dermatology. You learn all things hair, skin, and nails, and you become an expert. And then afterwards, you become board certified and you can practice dermatology on your own. Next slide. So here is Just a few pictures of me and my classmates in med school. I attended Howard University, and our motto was to work hard and play even harder. On the bottom left hand picture, it says me trying to balance studying, going to class, having a social life, exercising, and sleeping. A lot of times throughout medical school, I looked like this, and I was very tired, but it was very rewarding. And a lot of times we got to do great things. Like we had a med school prom, we had field day, we would do a lot of fun things. So I would say that yes, med school is hard, but it can be fun too. Next slide. Another reason why I decided to pursue dermatology in medical school, period. I come from an inner city where honestly there was no doctors in my neighborhood, there was no doctors in my family. And I wanted to, a lot of people want to go to physicians that look like them. And of all the dermatologists in the US, only 3% are Black and only 4% are Latino, which means that there's a dire need to diversify not only medicine, but the specialty of dermatology. Next slide. So we need you. I hoped that all of you can see yourself in me. You know, if I can make it, I believe that you can as well. And one thing I will say is, yes, I saw someone said like the MCAT is harsh and medicine is hard. Yes, medicine is hard, but when you have a dream in your heart, you never give up. And I never gave up. So I believe because I can do it, you can also do it.
Oh,
Next
I
slide.
love that. Yay, that's so
One
inspiring.
more
Thank you so
slide.
much.
And one thing I could say as a first generation doctor, no one in my family were physicians. So I would not be here today if it wasn't for my mentors who helped pave the way for me. In the first slide on the left, this is actually my middle school Spanish teacher. And what I will say is your mentor doesn't have to be in the same field as you, but that can be someone who supports you, who prays for you, who provides you with words of encouragement throughout the whole process. The next image is Dr. Gianelli. He gave me my first job out of college. He basically paved the way for me and was, I call him my medical dad, to show me that being a dermatologist is possible. Next person is Dr. Cherie Fry. She's one of my mentors at my medical school. I have another picture here is one of my mentors. She's a pediatrician. My next mentor, Dr. Max, she's a celebrity dermatologist, and Dr. Sean Quatra, he's now the department chair at University of Maryland Dermatology. So mentors can come in all different shades, they all different backgrounds, but you need people in your corner who will root for you and advocate for you and help open up doors and create a seat at the table for you to be successful. And I believe that's it.
Love that. Love that. That is so, so incredible. Thank you so much, Dr. Henry,
You're
for
so welcome.
letting us know the journey to dermatology. One quick question. When you were a child, did you want to be a doctor or when did you realize, like,
That I
how
wanted to be a
old were
doctor.
you?
Yeah, so I was 8 years old when I decided that I wanted to be a doctor. It was actually a sad exposure for me into medicine. I lost my grandfather to lung
Mhm.
cancer when I was 9 years
Mhm.
old. And I knew that I wanted to be someone who could possibly save a life. So that was my initial
Wow.
exposure into medicine. But as I
Mhm.
continued to explore, I thought I wanted to go into OBGYN initially, which is women's health. And then once my skin condition that went undiagnosed my whole life was given an actual diagnosis, I knew that I wanted to be that person who would diagnose the undiagnosed. And I love all things dermatology. I love all things skincare, as well as the surgical procedures that come along with dermatology. I think it's an amazing field and it's
Hmm.
diverse.
Do you mind sharing, like, what was your skin condition?
Yeah, so it's called polymorphous light eruption. It's actually an allergy to the sun.
Mm-hmm.
So my
Mm-hmm.
whole life, I grew up in Philly, which is cold. The East Coast is very cold. So on our summer trip to the Jersey Shore, I don't know if you ladies are familiar with Atlantic City. I would go to Atlantic City
Mm-hmm.
every summer with my family, and I would break out in a terrible, terrible rash of hives. I was very uncomfortable. And growing up, my pediatrician told me that I was allergic to beach water because she associated my
Wow.
summer beach trips with that was what was causing my rash. And it wasn't until I
Mm.
worked for Dr. Gianelli that he actually gave me the correct diagnosis of polymorphous light eruption and how to maintain it. And it was the sunscreen that I didn't grow up wearing that actually
Oh,
provides a amazing barrier to the skin to protect my skin from the sun rays. So I hope
wow.
everyone is wearing sunscreen every single day.
Every day that the sun is out. And one thing I wanted to ask, if you could give advice to your younger self, what would that look like?
If I could give advice to my younger self, I would tell myself to never give up.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes the road is rough and it's hard
Yes.
and you cannot see the light at the end of the tunnel, but don't give up. Because in some of my hardest moments, I thought I would never get to the point where I am today as a physician. And no matter how long it took, it always worked out. So even when things seem like it's the worst thing possible, it always ends up working out. And one thing I would tell my younger self, which I tell myself, my younger siblings, and my mentees, is that um, never give up. And
You,
even when people try to speak negativity on your career or tell you that you can't do things, then you find a way to make it work.
I love that. And I hear you say mentor, a lot. Tell us a little bit about how you got a mentor, what a mentor is, and what that looks like, and why everyone should have one.
So a mentor is someone who can advocate for you. I would say that I would not be here today if it wasn't for my mentors advocating for me. Um, I could say that sometimes it's not what you know, it's who you know, and who you know
Mhm.
can sometimes open up doors. So
Mm,
throughout my whole journey, whether I hit any roadblocks. I went to my mentors for advice. Like I said, I am a first generation doctor. I'm the first physician in my family, and I couldn't go to my parents to give me advice on how to navigate medicine. So my mentors stood in the gap for me and basically
mm.
paved the way and told me the things that I should be doing, helped put me in those rooms that I would have not have gained access to if it wasn't for them advocating for me. So now that I'm in this position, now I serve as a mentor to the younger people that I come in contact with to now pave the way for them.
I love that. I saw a question in the chat.
Yeah, see some questions. How do you foster such close relationships with your mentor? I think what a lot of people don't realize is that mentorship is a two-way street. Um,
Mm-hmm.
so I don't just call my mentors for help. I just check in on them. I ask them how they're doing. Is there anything I could do for them? If I could be a listening ear for them. And a lot of times, if you just go up to someone and say, I'm talking to you today, if any of you reached out to me or private messaged me and said, hey, I'm looking for a mentor, I want to be a doctor, very seldom would anyone tell you no. So it's
Mm.
simply just going up to this person or reaching out to this person and just saying, can you serve as my mentor? And that's how I developed all my mentorship relationships.
Wow. Okay, another question is, congratulations, Dr. Henry. Did you take a gap year?
I took a lot of gap years, actually. I took 7 gap years between undergrad and medical school. What I would say is that I suffered with really bad test anxiety that I didn't know was test anxiety, went undiagnosed for many years. And it wasn't until my mentor told me that what the symptoms that I was experiencing was anxiety.
Mm,
So I took
hmm.
many years to work on my anxiety, but during this time, I continued to explore medicine. So I worked for a dermatology practice for 3 years. I got a master's degree at Georgetown. I also worked in clinical research. So during those 7 years, I took many years, but I continued to explore medicine and I continued to do service in my community during that time.
Wow. Incredible. Incredible. I
The
think
other
you
question
have,
said, how often do you communicate with your mentor?
yeah.
I would say quarterly. Um,
Okay.
I don't want to bother them, but you want to be present. Yeah, I would say quarterly. And your mentors understand what you need. So I have a mentee right now that's preparing to apply to medical school, and she's been texting me a lot. And she's like, "Oh my God, I need to talk to you." She does need to talk to me. I understand I was in her shoes before. So I'm going
Hmm.
to schedule a call to meet with her to help her out. So what I would say is your mentors know what you need. Don't hesitate to reach out to them for your needs.
I love
Um,
that.
Next question is, did you take science courses in college? Yes, I majored in pre-medicine biology, so majority of my courses were science courses.
Okay. Are you
Um,
are you
being
going
that
to continue? Let me see.
being that you enter medicine as people who look like you were underrepresented, how would you recommend navigating these spaces? Um,
Mhm.
Through mentorship,
Do you know
finding
any like organizations that
yes.
some of these students or potential future medical students, what would you
Yeah.
recommend?
So the AAD, the American Academy of Dermatology, has a plethora of programs where you can enter as high school students and as medical students and residents to expose you to dermatology. NMA Dermatology is another organization for medical students and residents. You can attend their workshops and programs. There was another program that I did in college. It's called Chapette, but unfortunately, due to this administration, I think they took away the funding for that.
Mhm.
There's another program at Johns Hopkins called the MCHC Rise Up program. That's another great program that exposes you to medicine. So there's a lot of different programs that's still going on to exposure to medicine.
Okay, and we have one last question that we have time for. What makes the DO schools more holistic?
So, DO schools are more holistic because they train you in something called OMM, which is they take the whole body approach to treating medicine. That answers your question.
I love that. Well, thank you so much, Dr. Henry. This has
You're
been
so welcome.
incredible.
I'll
We're-
continue to answer questions in the chat
That's awesome.
about some
Dr.
L'Oreal products, which I love. So I'll
Yeah,
continue to
we'll we'll
answer.
we'll get on skincare a little bit later,
Yeah.
right? So now we're gonna transition now to our panelists, and we're going to hear from these amazing ladies that are representing L'Oreal. Does everyone like L'Oreal? Let me know. Show some love if you love L'Oreal. When you think about L'Oreal, do you guys just think about like mascara and lipstick? What are your first thoughts when you think about L'Oreal? Because my world at L'Oreal Dermatological Beauty is where we focus on skin health science. So if you've ever used CeraVe to fix your skin barrier, La Roche-Posay to clear up a breakout or for photo protection, or if you've ever used Skin Better Science, for some beautiful anti-aging, that is us. We're all about skincare and skin health. But your job shouldn't be about, hiding behind makeup. We want you to have healthy, happy skin. And so our job is working with dermatologists like Dr. Henry to really create science, to have clinical studies that show efficacy for our products that we have listed here behind me. And today we're going to show you how you can take that passion for science, beauty, and helping people and turn it into an amazing career that you'll love every single day. Jenny, you can go ahead and kick off the video.
Since the dawn of time, our skin has been the symbol for our inner well-being, for our health. When things are bad, when illnesses damage us and bring us down, we lose our strength and our confidence. And with the passing of time and external daily aggressions, skin pathologies are on the rise. Furthermore, with the drastic shift to online communications, we are more concerned with beauty and healthy aging. Here lies the responsibility of L'Oreal Dermatological Beauty to rebuild our confidence and self-esteem through the health and beauty of our skin. This strength stems from the top scientists and hundreds of thousands of dermatologists, general practitioners, aesthetic physicians and pharmacists who recommend our brands everywhere in the world. Brands like Vichy, La Roche-Posay, CeraVe, SkinCeuticals or Skin Better Science. Brands that are loved by everyone all around the world and that are committed to the planet and to society. We pioneer life-changing and sustainable dermatological solutions for all. L'Oréal Dermatological Beauty.
Woohoo! I love it. I love it. Dermatological, life-changing, sustainable solutions for all. So without further ado, I would love to interview and invite my amazing, fantastic colleagues from L'Oreal Dermatological Beauty, featuring Andrea Mitchell, Hillary Furby, and Genevieve Lopez. Thank you so much today, ladies. Welcome.
Hi.
Hi, so excited to be here.
Hello.
Wonderful.
So excited to be here as well.
Awesome, awesome. I love the fact that we are all showing up in our L'Oreal t-shirts today. So first, I would like to kick off with Hillary. And Hillary, you are a senior skin health advisor at L'Oreal. Can you tell us a little bit about yourself and your career at L'Oreal?
Absolutely. So, hi, my name is Hillary Furby, and I've been with L'Oreal for almost 5 years, and I work in the Maryland, Washington, D.C. area. So, as a skin health advisor, I represent brands like CeraVe, La Roche-Posay, and Vichy, and really get to make a difference in the patients' lives. So, when it comes to my current role and my responsibilities, I'm really educating and I'm advising. So I'm almost looked at as like an expert, like a cohort when it comes to the dermatologist and how they're treating their patients. So by giving them the knowledge and the tools, they're able to really help teach their patients to really keep their skin nice and healthy and starting it out, from when they're young to, when we're going. I mean, skincare is really from like the cradle to grave. So you really have to establish a good skincare routine when you start from the beginning.
I love that. Yeah, having a established skincare routine and sticking to it is key. Is that something that you do in your daily job? Like you said, you talk to dermatologists, you educate them, you're the skin health expert. Tell us a little bit about like what exactly that means.
Absolutely. So by really going in and giving the knowledge, I mean, there's so many different products that come out. I mean, when it comes to
Mhm.
CeraVe, La Roche-Posay, and Vichy, there's already products that are brand new. And someone in the chat had asked about advice on a cleanser for combination skin. And I actually wrote in there about our CeraVe Balancing Air Foam Cleanser. And it's something that's
Mhm.
new. So to have a new ingenious product come to the market, I'm able to give that knowledge to my providers who will be able to help the patients with combination skin, for example, or if they have acne and we have new products coming out, I get to educate and really help the providers choose these products to see like what's going to help the patients. And then also when it comes to the typical day, I mean, I'm doing so much, but also something I really like doing is like Andrea said, and also Dr. Henry, community outreach and really helping out the community to provide care to them as well.
That's incredible. Yeah, community outreach service. I know Hillary, we've partnered on, you know, our breast cancer activation. And so
Yes.
when you think about thinking back in high school, right? Let's kind of think back, like, and now today, how did you see your career in beauty when you were, younger? Have you always been interested in beauty and skincare?
It's a great question. I've always been interested in skincare, but also, unfortunately, I was one of those people who, when I was younger, I wasn't really taught to wear sunscreen, so my skin doesn't really burn. So what I'm saying is starting from the beginning, and it's something that, going back to high school, establishing that routine. And even though
Mhm.
I had such knowledge when it comes to skincare and, makeup and just moisturizers, sunscreen was something I was actually really missing. So, really just having the science and the knowledge and learning about it is something that really did help. And also just having mentors, having teachers really stand behind you. And if you have a passion, so learning about science, learning about biology and chemistry, really having your teachers stand behind you, they can help you get an opportunity when it comes to science and medical and really get your brain turning on what your career might be. Because I didn't know when I was in high school that I was going to have a job at L'Oreal.
Wow.
But it's great that I had the tools that I could get to there.
Wow, that's incredible. Yeah, it seems like, I mean, in the chat, let us know, did people not wear sunscreen when, growing up? It seems like that was not something that was practiced, but now we all know the importance of wearing sunscreen every single day.
Yes.
I
If I
love
could go
that.
back, I would apply it every single second of the day. So definitely wear your sunscreen. It's so important.
Is that one of your favorite things to talk about when you go to see your dermatologist, sunscreen?
It's one of them. I mean, it's such a big deal. And when it comes to having a nice, healthy skin barrier, you want to be protecting it
Hmm.
from the sun. And sun rays could be coming in from, us sitting in our house and the window shade being open, or being in our cars, or if you're at an after school program or you're playing soccer, the sun is all around us. So that's why I love talking about it so much, because there's so much emphasis in it and really making sure that you're nice and healthy, staying away from the sun, wearing protective clothing. It's something that's really impactful.
I know a lot of people complain about like dark spots and stuff on their skin. Is that something that the doctors are interested to learn more about?
Absolutely. And I mean, dark spots can happen in so many different ways. So it could happen from when you're out in the sun too much, or you have some acne breakouts, and your skin may have post hyperpigmentation when it comes to, the inflammatory acne lesions. So you could have a little bit of dark spots around that acne.
Mm.
So there's so many
Mhm.
different ways that dark spots can come on our skin, and knowing the proper ways to treat them. And that goes back to educating the doctors and our office staff on the products that we have to treat those patients.
I love that. I love that. Um, I think, can we jump to the next slide, Jenny? I love this. Andrea Mitchell, dermatology sales at L'Oreal. Andrea, thank you so much for joining us tonight. Could you give us a little bit of background about who you are, your education, your why, in skincare?
Absolutely. So my name is Andrea Mitchell. I am also a skin health advisor here at L'Oreal. I'm based in the Houston, Texas area, and I have been with L'Oreal for 3 years now. In May, I truly, truly love what I do, and it's been such a journey to get here. I'm originally from Memphis, Tennessee, born and raised, and I went to school in Nashville at Tennessee State University, where I have my bachelor's in biochemistry. And then I went on to Meharry Medical College, where I received my master's in public health. Just growing up and just seeing, everyone around me, my parents, friends, and community, really achieve really great things. I always knew that, it was something that I wanted to do, is to have an impactful career. And, growing up, I always thought it would be in medicine. I thought that I would go into pharmacy. I wanted to be a
Hmm.
pharmacist. But as you grow up and you learn what your interests are and what you really truly enjoy. And I think it's extremely important to build a career around what you want to wake up every day and do. And so I've always had a passion for helping people. I've always wanted to be an advocate for my community and help people, which I thought initially I wanted to go into pharmacy to do. But I later learned that, it's so many ways to build a career, and it's so many opportunities to take what you're passionate about and what you're also interested in and your education to
Okay.
really customize your career. And that's what I've been able to do. Again, like I said before, I have a great passion for helping people. I also have a passion in beauty, but I love sales and I love competition as well.
Okay.
I've learned over the years. And so I have been able to and blessed to be able to build a career that merges both my
Mm-hmm.
scientific background, healthcare background, as well as my passion for sales and my passion for beauty. So that's how I've gotten here, and I love what I do. I'm happy to get up and do this every day.
That's amazing. I guess like when you can find a career where you can bring your whole self, to the table, I think, where your passion and your pursuits all interconnect, it is like the best formula ever. I love that.
Absolutely.
So when you think about like your day to day, what does that look like? Give us a little insight.
So, a big part of what I do is advocating for patients. So, again, as Hillary mentioned, there are so many products on the market,
Mm-hmm.
and as well as there's so many different health and skin concerns based on age, skin type, skin color, skin tone, texture. It's so much education that needs to be had on a
Mm-hmm.
consumer basis as well as in a healthcare setting. What I love, what I get to do is I get to go into these offices and speak to the dermatologists about both CeraVe and La Roche-Posay. But what's special about what I love to get to do is that I get to advocate for people that look like me. There is a
Mm-hmm.
certain messaging and verbiage that you would like to have when speaking to these to HCPs, which is healthcare providers. But ultimately, what I've learned over the years and in my education is that amongst African Americans and people of color is that there's a lot of medical distrust. And
Mm-hmm.
so, a lot of times when they go into offices, they don't see people that look like them, and they don't, even though they're professional and they're educated, they, don't maybe still not trust what they hear from medical professionals. And so I love that I can go in and talk to my providers about how they can, you know, talk to their patients about their skincare needs and what ingredients or what products work specifically for our skin types and skin textures where they can build trust with their recommendations as well. So I love being able to have those conversations, of course, about any skincare condition, but specifically driving home the message about how they can advocate and speak to and recommend specifically for patients of color.
I love that. So it sounds like your role, it really combines both science and communication every day. And why are both of these skills so important in the skincare industry?
Well, the truth is, you need both. Different skills are going to get you in the door. Sometimes your scientific, medical knowledge and education is going to get you in the door. And
Hmm.
sometimes just your personality, your friendliness, your, your zeal is what's going to get you in the door. But once you get into the door, you need both.
Yeah.
So it's important to have both skills because again, we have it's so many different personalities and buyer types when we go into offices. Each professional they have different protocols in their offices as
Mm-hmm.
well as different what's the word I'm looking for? Practices of what's important to them when it comes to their patients. And we have to be able to break those walls down amongst all of those different providers. So if they're very science driven and
Hmm.
ingredient driven, you need to be able to have that conversation. If they're more, patient and community driven and price driven, you need to be able to have that conversation. But you actually have to be able to have that conversation. So getting in the door, getting past those gatekeepers, getting past the front desk, the secretary, the management. is also important. And sometimes your personality is what's going to get you to be able to have those scientific conversations. So again, it's important to be able to have both. One may get you in the door, but once you get in that door, you need to be able to stack those skills to really make those calls as successful as possible.
I love that. I love that. Such clear advice. Clear advice. One last question. You were saying get in the door. Where exactly are you going?
When I get in the
Each
door,
day. Each day. So
oh,
what is
each
it that,
day.
yeah. Mm-hmm.
Oh man. Once I get into the door, I definitely want to get to the provider. I
So
definitely
you're
want to be
going to
able
a
to,
doctor's office first, right?
oh,
So
yes, go to the
let's
doctor's office
get
first.
lady count work. So like, okay, you
Okay, so I'll go. Okay, so I'll go into the doctor's office and I go to the front desk. Hopefully, I have someone I can text or call and let them know I'm on my way. But ultimately, I'm greeting the front office and letting them know I'm there to see the HCP. Let them know what products I'm bringing in, and then sometimes you have to wait. Sometimes you
mm-hmm.
can smooth your way to the back and say, okay, because the providers are busy, they're in and out of appointments all day and they may not have time right then, so I request if I can go to the sample closet, because we bring in samples every day. So when you go to a
Ah,
dermatologist
mm-hmm.
and they, you have your call with them and they recommend prescriptions to you, a lot of dermatologists also recommend skincare products to work alongside those prescriptions so you
Mm-hmm.
have better results overall. So, if you're going in there for acne, they'll recommend you an acne prescription, but they also may recommend a cleanser that's going to also help treat your acne alongside your prescription. So that's a big thing of what we do as skin health advisors, that we advise them on products that they can recommend with prescriptions. And
Got it.
so, so I go into the sample closet, make sure our samples are organized and seen and visible. Make sure that they also have coupons to send home with patients as well, so that they find value in those products and value in pricing as well, and more, prone to actually go home and buy the products because they have a little bit of a discount as well. But again, I ultimately want to get that time with the ACP to educate them on the products and educate them on, again, what products we have that's going to align with the prescriptions for those patients. So I make a lot of touches in those offices. And so, and then, the post call is also important to make sure you're thanking them and reminding them of what
Mm-hmm.
you spoke about that day. And again, making sure they have something to put in those patients' hands. So whether it is a cleanser, a serum, a sunscreen, a moisturizer, and a coupon, we make sure that those tools are available to the provider to make available to the patients.
I love that. I love that. There was one question in the chat. It's like, how do you gain the opportunity to shadow a doctor?
Oh, to shadow a doctor? Well, we don't necessarily shadow a doctor, because patient and doctor, they have confidentiality. So I'm not a healthcare professional, so I cannot be in rooms with the doctors, or with their patients. I can't talk to or touch their patients in the offices.
Mm-hmm.
And so I talk to the providers, in their offices or in the hallway, anywhere I can catch them outside of a patient room, is where the playground that I get to play on in the offices.
Got
And
it.
so again, I make so many touches. It's important to, educate their medical assistants on the products as well. I can really talk to anyone in that office, because it's about just educating, making that full office call is what's important.
Mm-hmm.
It helps me in my sales and making those calls and making the full office call. So you really want to be able to touch the secretary and the front office management is, important. The medical assistant is important. The nurse is important, because ultimately if they love our products or know about our products, they're going to advocate to the provider as well too. So again, I don't get to shadow the doctor
Mm-hmm.
or
Oh,
nursing
well,
providers.
Dr. Henry has updated us in the chat, so we now have a protocol on what to do. I love that. All right, I want to take a moment to talk with Genevieve. So Genevieve,
Hi,
how are you this evening?
I'm doing well. Thank you. I'm very excited to be here.
Thank you so much for being here this evening. Can you give us a little introduction about who you are and what you do at L'Oreal?
Yes. So I'm Genevieve Lopez. I am the meeting and events manager for Skin Better Science. Um, I work very closely with our medical relations team, and I've been doing this for almost 3 years now. And the way I see it is our medical relations team, they are the bridge between the brands, our science, our clinical trials, and they work very closely with physicians, estheticians, plastic surgeons to be able to provide clinical data. My job is to really uh, design and execute physical platforms for them to share that data. So I
Mm,
manage congresses. I do about 15 congresses a year. You can see in some of these photos, this is our team. And what we're here to do is educate physicians. We also have a lot of residents who attend these congresses, and we show them clinical data about our products. We're interacting. Sometimes we're teaching physicians how
mhm,
to um, provide digestible information to consumers so that they know um, all about our products. One of the reasons I got into this industry is that when I was younger, I had cystic acne, and
mm,
it was a big insecurity of mine. I had it for about 5 to 6 years, and
mhm.
was embarrassed to go into an office and get treatment. And at the time, I didn't even know that there was treatment. I think I even tried putting toothpaste on my cheek one time to get rid of a pimple because I saw it in like Teen
Mhm.
magazine. Um, so I finally went to a dermatologist's office, and it was a very safe place. And I remember them, presenting some treatments for myself and getting facials done and just like how that made me feel. And
Mm,
think I
mhm.
started when I was like 14 and I was like 20 when I finally had no acne, but then I had acne scars. So then I,
Yeah.
getting my facials, and I just remember that feeling and I wanted to be part of this industry. So started in cosmetology, and
Mm,
yeah, I had a cosmetology license and I worked in that industry for about 4 to 5 years. And what I learned is I loved the education part of it. I loved learning about the brand and sharing that. And so I took a position within a retail store selling skincare, and I
oh,
learned,
wow.
just all the things that I needed. And at the time, I probably didn't need everything that I wanted to try. But, as you mature and you get older, you realize like the benefits of using skincare and, why it's important. So in my day to day, I get to create a place in these exhibit halls where people come learn about our product, learn about our science. If you're not familiar with what a Congress is, imagine walking into a giant exhibit hall, and there's anywhere between 250 to 10,000 people that are all passionate about skincare health, and they're presenting scientific data, and you have speakers educating on what's new in the industry, what's coming. It's a very lively environment, and I get to be part of it. I get to travel across the country, and this in January, I got to go to Paris and participate in one of
Wow.
their congresses with 20,000 people. So it's a beautiful experience to be part of.
I love that. There's a question in the chat. It says, what do you love most about your career with L'Oreal?
Oops, maybe she froze.
Rose?
I'm sorry,
Oh,
I disconnected. I have no idea how. I'm sorry. What was the question?
Oh, what do you love most about your career in L'Oreal?
Oh, I love the growth that I've had in my role. I
Hmm.
started as a coordinator. So something I'm very passionate about is systems and processes, event planning,
Mm,
and I was there to support. And then I learned um, I was like more curious, like how can we implement science into our booth and make it an experience versus a place where people come and get free samples. And so I worked very closely with our VP of Medical Relations, and we just kept growing the program. But then we started implementing these scientific dinners where we had roundtable conversations about science, about product, about what the industry needed. So I was like, you know what? I think I can take this on. And then I started to take on other projects. And then I was promoted to a manager like 6 months later. And then now, a year later, I'm overseeing all Skin Better events. So I actually manage education summits too, where we're delivering education, selling tools and product knowledge to people who have our products in practice, are interested in learning it. So Skin Better Science and L'Oreal has given me the opportunity to grow and to get in touch with like natural skills that I have. And they really embrace that, and they encourage me to take extra leaps and take extra classes to be able to grow in my career. I think that's like one of the biggest things that I love about L'Oreal is that there's never a limited opportunity to grow in your role or even to learn. They offer a
Yeah.
lot of educational classes for
Mhm.
personal skill sets as well.
I love that. You've talked a lot about like science and education. What advice would you give students who enjoy STEM subjects, but also love working with people?
I would say that learn as much as you can, even when it's challenging. I have a son in college and a daughter that's 16, and sometimes they're like, school is hard, or I don't want to do this. But the reality is, when you're growing in your career, you are going to have projects that are hard or projects where you feel like, I cannot do this. But in this day and age, there are so many resources for you to tap into, and just think of learning as like, this is experience that's going to provide future benefits for me versus just seeing a task at hand. There's something that you have to do. Um,
Hmm.
Connect and network. I I feel like I've learned so much by getting mentors who are either in the
Yeah.
same industry or different industries, or they were already at a level where I aspired to be. So ask for honest feedback when you're
Okay.
networking, um,
Hmm.
positive and open, and really just embracing feedback that people who have paved a way before you are willing to provide.
I love that. I love that. I know a lot of the students are like super interested in like science and medical careers, but being in a medical career doesn't mean you have to be a doctor or a nurse. So give a little bit more detail about how your role connects science, health, and beauty in a different and unique way.
Yeah, so a l- I believe like 25% is execution of what I do on these trade shows, but most of the time I'm working with the doctors that we have working in skin for Skin Better Science.
Mm-hmm.
We also have pharma students that have transitioned over, and they're working on like the product, and there are a lot of derms there. So I do take a lot of time to understand the science, um, how it impacts the business, and really just learning as much as I can, because I don't have a medical background, but I do feel like it's important for me to be able to tell Skin Better Science story and to be able to talk about our products.
I love that. I love that. I think that's important in like any field that you're in, right? To be passionate, to be engaged. Thank you so much for your story. This has been incredible. Well, this has been an amazing power hour all about skincare. And one last thing, if everyone could just tell me in the chat, what is your favorite L'Oreal Dermatological Beauty product? Is it CeraVe? Is it La Roche-Posay? Which one is it? My favorite product right now is the Lipicar Body Moisturizer. So I'm going to pass the mic to Genevieve. What is your favorite product?
Ooh, that is I think my whole house is stacked. I have a lot of LRP and I have
Mm-hmm.
Skin Better Science, all of our anti-aging, but I love a good
Oh,
vitamin
skin
C.
better too. Oh
Real
my gosh.
retinoids.
Mm-hmm.
Those are my like main
Your
caps.
go-tos. I love
Yes,
it. All right,
thank
Hillary, what about you?
Okay, so I don't know how you choose this because there's
It's
so
so
many great
hard.
products out there. And like Genevieve said, my whole entire house is filled with
Mm-hmm.
CeraVe and La
Mm-hmm.
Roche-Posay products. If I had to choose, okay, I would say our CeraVe healing ointment because it's a lighter texture. It's not sticky or greasy like some of the other healing ointments out there. And
Okay.
it really helps replenish the skin barrier. Or also Cicaplast because Cicaplast, it really does everything. It's a healing
Yeah.
balm, but there
Purpose.
is nothing that it can't do.
Yeah.
It will solve all of life's issues.
I love that. And Andrea, what about you?
That is such a hard question, but I am definitely a sunscreen everyday girl. Like
Mm,
it, when I say sunscreen of all the things is what has changed my skin for the better. I love the La Roche-Posay Invisible line, the UV Hydra, UV Clear, and UV
mm-hmm.
Tone. Right now, I'm using the UV Clear actually, and I am
Okay.
loving it again for the no white casting.
Yeah, yeah,
Um,
yeah.
I
Love it.
love it, but I am a diehard SkinCeutical CE Ferulic user. I use it every single day. So a vitamin C and a hyaluronic acid I use every day. So La Roche-Posay Hyalo B5 is also one of my
Jeez,
holy grail
you have a
products.
lot. You got a lot. That's a lot of skin regimen right
Yeah, I
there.
know, but those are my other my
Choose.
I
favorite.
love it. And last
But
but
yeah,
not least, Dr. Henry. Now, tell us, let us know.
Yeah, so I love the Melody 3 line.
Yeah.
Hmm. I
My
knew you were going to say
absolute favorite. And then
that.
SkinCeutical C for Rulic. Those are my two faves.
I love that. I love that. Well, this has been an amazing hour about skin, about science, about passion, about finding your voice. We hope that you guys have learned a lot tonight. And please, continue to be the best version of yourselves. And all things are possible, so pursue everything, with all that you got. We're so proud of you guys. Thank you for joining us tonight. And cheers to happy skin and wear your sunscreen every single day. Thank you
Yes.
guys.
Thank
Well,
you so much for
thank
joining
you.
us.
Thank
Thank
you.
you all so much for joining us and for each of our panelists and Dr. Henry. I mean, I was just texting, Andrea. I was like, this was one of my most favorite Empower Hours ever. You guys brought the energy. I think you inspired so many careers out here, not just about going into dermatology, but all the different types of jobs and roles you can have at a company like L'Oreal that incorporates skincare and science and STEM. So thank you all so much. I know we had a lot of requests for our favorite products, so we'll be sharing those on social. Make sure you follow at Project Glimmer. And Danielle will follow up with a survey so we can all get you some of these amazing products. And we will see you at our next Empower Hour. And thank you so much again. Have a great evening, everyone.
Bye,
Bye.
guys.
Bye.